There's a lot of innovation, there's a lot of disruption happening right now. You can be the next.
Welcome to another episode of The Winning Formula presented by Nasdaq. I am your host, Joel Kalani. We are here with an extremely special guest, CEO, founder of I Am Athlete, production company, 6-time Pro Bowler, wide receiver legend, many years in the NFL, Mr. Brandon Marshall. Thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. You doing good today?
I'm doing great.
So I really want to kind of primarily drill down on your kind of career after the career.
Yeah.
Right. We'll get to the football stuff in time, but I really want to talk about how early into your career did you start to think about the entire lifetime that exists after your playing career ends?
So it's a story and it's a journey, right? And the story begins in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, the east side of town, the most impoverished community in all of Pennsylvania. And I say that and I start there because a lot of these environments are unhealthy. And so the things that you pick up along the way, how do you communicate, how you deal with trauma, how do you respond to certain things? And so when I was a baby, I wanted to be in the NFL, right? And I took that passion and that fire from my community and I put that into playing football. I made it to the NFL and I still was carrying some of those things. Early on in my career, I just couldn't get out of my own way. And so I ended up in an outpatient program at McLean Hospital. And so when I started to first understand what was going on and, you know, how to cope and deal with just success and celebrity and then also failure and everything that comes with it, I start realizing that I now have to think like a business, not like a brand, right? You know, you have amazing opportunity like being in the NFL, you have to protect the shield. And when you get in trouble, you know, you miss opportunities. And so what I ended up doing, or I started reading a lot, and I went to Harvard in this 2014 in the off season, and I built out this case study on transition. And that's when I started thinking like a business. And I wanted to build out platform. And so I've been on that journey ever since. And so year 6, I opened up my first office in Chicago. I started building out a team. I started putting everything together. And we've been on this journey ever since of building out this thing in content and commerce. And then also on the nonprofit side, mental health was extremely important to me. We weren't talking about mental health when I first started talking about it. I was, you know, one of the first athletes in the prime of his career doing that. And once I start understanding it, I start pounding the table at the league office. The commissioner and I have an amazing relationship. And for 3 years straight, you know, I would go into the office in my off day and I'll say, Commish, we have to do something here. We launched several initiatives. The one that I'm most proud of is My Cause, My Cleats. We weren't talking about it. We were talking a lot about other things. And now this is the #1 initiative in the NFL. And so it's been a journey, but it goes back to, you know, my childhood. And then when I first got in the NFL. And so year 5, year 6, we start putting it together. And now we're here.
Amazing answer on that. And, you know, part of everything you just described is the impact of your voice, just talking about it. And you've obviously, you know, founded the I Am Athlete production company and you've built a voice for not just yourself, but many other athletes to see the swim lanes that exist in media. How did the idea for just even putting your voice out there and speaking about the game, speaking about all the other things that people don't know about, not just the yards, the catches, the games, the wins, the losses, but the mental health struggles, the struggles around, you know, taking care of your family, not, you know, those are all things that are not always given the light of day. How quickly into your, whether it's during your career or after, did you start to think about, I have a voice and I'm going to use it? Because that takes, you know, braveness to do.
Yeah, so first, you know, my dream was never to be in front of the camera. I still don't like being in front of the camera. Right? No, I like business, right?
Yeah.
And so when we started to study transition, content and commerce came out of it. And there's several athletes and artists that we studied, but Magic Johnson was the one that stood out to me. I couldn't understand why Magic Johnson was on ESPN covering a game when his, you know, his enterprise, his empire was, you know, worth a couple $100 million at the time. I didn't understand that. And what came out of that was like, oh, this is another platform to continue to push traffic to the things that really matter to him, right? there's a lot of athletes out there that are super passionate about, cancer, the cancer community, or business, or politics. For me, mental health. And so we try to leverage our platforms to build those things that can last forever. And so it started there, and I thought it was going to be more traditional. And then this opportunity came for us to launch our own shows and tell our own stories. The most amazing thing about this partnership with Revolt is it's authentic and it's real. There's other platforms where we can't take the conversations that we're having every single day in a locker room, in a barbershop, and package it and put it out there to the world, right? There's networks out there that it may be too raw for, may be too unfiltered, but now you're seeing that's what people want, right? People want that. They want it deconstructed a little bit. They don't want overproduced shows. And so that traditional linear way didn't necessarily work for me, so being able to do it myself, and then a Revolt coming along and saying, like, we see it, this is who we are, we are a platform for the disruptors, for the Mavericks. We have big vision and big plans on taking it the distance. And what does that look like? It's being able to show up in the sports space daily, weekly, meeting athletes where they're at. And not only on the court and in the locker room, but also athletes love fashion, athletes love food, athletes love to travel. So there's so many cool stories to come. And, there's a few of us that, understand where the opportunities are.
Love that. And, just to tag on to that, for yourself, goal-wise, you've recently said, I achieved a lot of my football-related goals early, in some respect. Mid-20s, you had records, you had so much success, you had the largest contract at one point for, there were so many things that when you look at yourself and say, as a fourth-round draft pick, I've overperformed by a dramatic margin. For yourself, goal-wise now, in the business realm, what are the goals now? Because you said, I have to dream bigger, and you've done that. Now, sitting where you are, what are the goals you see for yourself in the business realm? How big are you thinking now when you think about where this can go? I know we're at the start of the Revolt relationship, but beyond in general.
Yeah, let's reverse engineer it, right? Like, I walk into the studio, I see these automated cameras, I see the efficiencies here, I see the newsroom. You have some producers, some editors in the back. We're sitting here in Times Square, right? Reminds me of, TRL and, where we would, Good Morning America. You can look up and you can see some of your
good memory there,
favorite journalists and athletes and artists, sharing their stories. This is what I see for I Am Athlete. This is what I see for Revolt Sports, right? Atlanta is a place where we live and train in the off season. South Florida, the West Coast, LA, Phoenix. Like, how do we show up in these places? So when you ask me about my goals, that's what I envision. Visualization is critical for an athlete. And I envisioned myself catching a game-winning touchdown. I envisioned myself running and I felt the sweat and hearing the fans scream when I caught the ball. So I practice that same thing in business now. Like, I walk in here and I take down the Nasdaq and I take down the winning formula logo. I love it. Thank you for the opportunity, but it's an opportunity for me to dream. I see I Am Athlete. I see Revolt Sports. I see the next show and the next show. I see the fans out there looking up at us saying, this is what we want. We've always, when you think about, athletes and artists and, our culture, we've always gotten product right. Always, right? And the athletes and artists now that get people right and process right, understand monetization, understand how to scale, are going to be the ones that have these opportunities here for us now. And everyone out there, this should be a message not only for athletes and artists, but anyone out there that have a platform, right? TikTok, Instagram, YouTube channels, Twitches, right? Like, you can do this. Like, we're in a watershedding moment right now. There's a lot of innovation. There's a lot of disruption happening right now. Look at the Mr. Beast of the world, $1 billion valuation, right? You can be the next. You can be the next, and it's going to take collaboration. It's going to take partnership. It's going to take a lot of, perseverance, right? It's not for everyone. Right? Building something great, you got to be a little delusional And also you got to have a lot of work, a lot of, like you got to put in a lot of work. So, I feel like I know I'm built for it because of my experience chasing football.
Love that. The show's called The
Yeah.
Winning Formula.
Yep.
For yourself, what has been the winning formula that has taken you to this point?
Self-assessment, right? Like you have to look yourself in the mirror every single day and, you have to be honest with yourself. What do I need to do to be better, right? So like as a father, I would tell you right now, I feel like I'm a B father right now, right? Because I'm chasing this business thing, but I want to be an A+ father, right? So now I'm like, all right, I got to put a little bit more energy into that, right? So instead of putting my kids down at 9 p.m., it may be 9:30 because they want to throw the ball around at night. Mommy might be mad at me, but I want my kids when I'm sitting here and they're running around this, this studio and they see our names up here. I want to be like, I love my dad. I'm proud of my dad, right? So, as an athlete, we're trained to do that. Every day we watch film, right? This is a high performance culture. It's a high performance business. And every day your best is needed. The standard is the standard. So, that's what I do in business now. I look myself in the mirror. It's like, okay, where are the areas of opportunities? We finally got our team and our company, small company, to a place where I can now come in and say, what are the problems? Right? That's it. Like, and that's a different mindset.
Yeah.
They walk into your teams like, no, we're good. I trust you guys. Like we've been through everything now. What are the problems? Right? We give the data boys, great, but where are the problems? What do we need to solve? Right? We're trying to go from A to B to C. And that's a key learning for me. I know we have to land a plane here, but that's one of the biggest key learnings for me too. Like, you ever heard of Strength Finders 2.0? Strength Finders 2.0 is like, who are you? A lot of times we lean into our weaknesses. What we need to focus on is what is your strength? What is my strength? And let's lean into that. For me, I'm an activator. I'm okay going without a plan and figuring it out. But Bonnie, my number 2, she needs strategy. She needs a plan, right? So it's like, okay, that's your strength, right? And so these last couple of years, being able to build the culture to where it feels like it's competitive and it's sport has been very, very beneficial for us. And so that's been a huge key learning, is understanding who I am, bringing in people that do different things and they understand who they are and how we can all contribute and co-create together. So exciting times for us, man. The creator economy is one of the hottest markets right now.
Absolutely.
It's been through a lot over the last couple of years. But if you want to bet on anything, you bet on the creator economy. And then also there's niches in their creator economy, and that's sports. And Revolt and the team there has planted a flag in the ground saying that we believe we can disrupt in sports. We are the culture, and that goes back to the product, right? Like LeBron's decision, garnished almost 1 billion views. Millions of dollars were donated to amazing causes, Boys and Girls Club. There's other LeBron James out there. There's other Angel Reeses out there. So as athletes, we have an opportunity to take the thing that we own, that we create, and build enterprise around in business. Now you got name, image, likeness that is breaking through, not only at the college level, but going down to high school. So now you have freshmen and sophomores that also need to think about business
early,
from taxation to accounting, right, to setting up their corporations, right? So there's a lot of work that we have to do. So yeah, Revolt Sports, it's great, from a content standpoint, but we also got to educate our community, right? And we want this to be a place where all these next Angel Reeses of the world and these LeBron Jameses of the world, they come to us first because we're trusted and we are them. We're family. And so I'm excited about where I'm at. I'm excited about where I Am Athletes at. I love where Revolt's at, and now it's time to execute.
Yeah.
All the other stuff is great, but you got to execute. You got to go build it. You know that.
Absolutely. And you know what? I think there's no better person to even talk about all the things you just mentioned, from financial literacy, how young this begins, the brand of oneself, developing it, scaling it, everything you just mentioned. Really great, insightful conversation that we've been really privileged to have. Thank you so much for joining us on The Winning Formula. It has been an absolute pleasure. We'll get you out of here and we'll talk to you next time. Thank you.